Hey, it's Adam Grant from Work Life, a podcast from TED. This episode is brought to you by Freshworks. Freshworks believes that complexity is the enemy of efficiency. So stop wrestling with bloated, expensive service software that takes forever to implement an update, where ROI is someday, not today. You've been overcharged and underserved for way too long. Uncomplicate with Freshservice for IT and Freshdesk for customer support. And with Freshworks AI-assisted service software, you'll work smarter, not harder. Freshworks uncomplicates. Learn more at freshworks.com.
On today's Smart 7, Russia strikes diplomatic targets in Kyiv, UN chief condemns Israel's Gaza inaction, and much more. It's Friday, 29th of August, it's Lemon Juice Day, and happy birthday, Lenny Henry.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
At least 23 people were killed on Thursday in Russian strikes on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. The targets appeared to include both the offices of the European Union and of the British Council. It was the latest in a series of escalating strikes following the summit between Russian President Putin and Donald Trump in Alaska. Alexander Rodnyansky is a former advisor to President Zelensky, and he says it's clear that Russia has no intention of making any effort to end the war.
It's all a charade to some extent when it comes to the talks, absolutely. Fundamentally, it's just a question of who's going to come out on top in this war of attrition, whether economically Ukraine or Russia are going to break first.
The strikes drew strong condemnation from European leaders, with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer accusing Putin of sabotaging hopes of peace, while the Russian ambassador to the UK, Andrei Kelin, was summoned to the Foreign Office. Orisha Lutsevich is the deputy director of the Russia and Eurasia programme at Chatham House, and she says it's important that Putin is held to account.
It does matter not only that the war stops, but how it stops. And both Europeans and Ukrainians do not want to put another war on the shoulders of the next generations. Russia has to pay the price, and its aggression should not be rewarded.
It has been a week since the United Nations declared that famine conditions had been reached in Gaza, a report that Israel dismissed as fabricated. Now, the head of the UN's World Food Programme, Cindy McCain, says that Gaza is at breaking point and that Israel urgently needs to reopen the 200 aid distribution centres that the UN had been running in the territory. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres was also warning of the urgency of the situation.
Famine is no longer a looming possibility. It's a present-day catastrophe. People are dying from hunger. Families are being torn apart by displacement and despair.
While there is growing pressure in Israel for a ceasefire, Prime Minister Netanyahu is pressing ahead with plans to invade Gaza City. And in a week where at least 5 journalists were killed, the CEO of the Committee to Protect Journalists, Jody Ginsberg, says it's quite clear what Israel is doing.
Israel does target journalists, not only in this war, but in the preceding decades. To remind us all, journalists are civilians. They are considered so in war and must never be targeted, and to do so is a war crime.
When Labour took office back in the summer of 2024, they pledged to make employees and employment rights a central priority. The new Employment Rights Bill includes new provisions for protections around unfair dismissals and zero-hour contracts, and it's expected to become law before the end of the year. As part of the process, veteran business leader Sir Charlie Mayfield is leading an independent review called Keep Britain Working to look at all aspects of health-based activity and how to make workplaces healthier and more inclusive. He told the Today programme on Radio 4 that it's an important part of getting more young people back into the workforce, particularly when it comes to things like doctor's notes.
What we want to try and do is figure out how do we fix a problem that is currently at the heart of the way we handle health, which is the fit notes not working properly. And so if we can fix that and move things forward, we can actually improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of the whole, and employers will benefit from that enormously.
Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey has been making plenty of headlines this week as he's spoken out on Gaza and on the latest proposals from Reform to deal with immigration. Sir Ed has politely but firmly declined an invitation from His Majesty the King to attend the state dinner that is due to be held for Donald Trump in September. It's not because he's allergic to cheeseburgers. He's trying to make a serious point about the ongoing war in Gaza and Trump's failure to use his influence to stop it. Thursday also saw him speak out against Reform's grand plans to reform the immigration system, which of course was tipped into chaos by Brexit.
The truth is that Nigel Farage and the Conservatives are to blame for the small boats crisis. Prior to pulling out of the EU, we had a returns agreement with every single European country. That acted as a really strong deterrent and prevented this. Nigel Farage should be apologising.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, Formula One revs up and Mae Martin hits Netflix. Right after this.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at vanta.com.
Welcome back.
Thursday saw the fixture list for the new Champions League season drop, and Liverpool and Man City will both have to face Real Madrid in the league stages. It's Newcastle who probably have the toughest assignment, though, as they face both Barcelona and current champions PSG. Meanwhile, this weekend sees Formula One Raw back into action with the Dutch Grand Prix. With 10 races to go, the title seems to be locked up for McLaren. It's just a question of whether Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris end up as champion. It's not a position Max Verstappen is used to in recent seasons, and he was sounding less than excited about the final leg of this year's racing.
It doesn't make sense for me to be frustrated or be screaming about it because it's just a waste of energy, and that's not what I'm doing. I think we just need to look at the car and the operation and how we can move forward from that in the future and be better.
It's hard to turn on the radio these days without hearing Sabrina Carpenter's deceptively cheerful music. She's mastered the charming pop song with occasionally bitter lyrics, poking fun at the men in her life on hits like Man-Child. Her new album Man's Best Friend includes deliberately provocative album art, and she's okay if it generates some pearl-clutching moments. She spoke to CBS Mornings before the album drops and says people need to relax a bit, it's just pop music.
People hear the lyrics that are really bold and they go, I don't want to sing this in front of other people, it's TMI. But I think about being at a concert with, however many young women I see in the front row that are screaming at the top of their lungs with their best friends, and you can go like, oh, we can all sigh of relief, this is just fun.
You may know Mae Martin as one of the UK's favourite Canadian comedians. I mean, they did win season 15 of Taskmaster. They were also behind the Channel 4 comedy Feel Good, and now Mae has turned to Netflix to create a new series about the wellness industry that profits off troubled teens. It's called Wayward, and it's created by and stars Martin alongside Toni Collette, and Mae says it's a story they have been dying to tell for years. All 8 episodes drop on September 25th.
Something is off about this town. We need out now.
Children go in. Something else comes out.
Soon it'll be like it never happened. Want to play a game? The only way out of here is through that door.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at vanta.com.